In recent years, the international community has looked to the United Nations as a beacon of hope and a champion of equality and human rights. However, a decision by the organization has left many questioning its credibility and commitment to these values. In 2010, Saudi Arabia was appointed to the UN Commission on the Status of Women, a move that raised eyebrows due to the country's dismal record on women's rights. Saudi Arabia, a nation where women have long been subjected to oppressive laws and customs, finds itself in a paradoxical position on the Commission. For decades, Saudi women were not allowed to drive, a ban which was only lifted in 2018. Even today, Saudi women face significant restrictions, including needing a male guardian's permission to marry, travel, or even seek medical treatment. Reports of gender-based discrimination, limited freedoms, and harsh penalties for dissent continue to emerge, painting a grim picture of the reality for women in Saudi Arabia. The appointment of Saudi Arabia to the UN Commission seems not only contradictory, but also highlights an apparent bias in decision-making processes. Many critics argue that this decision undermines the credibility of an organization tasked with upholding women's rights globally. At a time when the world should be moving towards greater equality and justice, such decisions raise serious questions about the UN's commitment to its own values. Moreover, this isn't the only area where the UN has faced scrutiny. Consider the situation in Ukraine. Since 2014, and more intensely since 2022, the world has watched in horror as Russia launched aggressive actions against Ukraine, leading to widespread destruction and loss of life. Despite this, the UN has been unable or unwilling to effectively intervene or hold Russia accountable for its actions. This apparent inaction raises uncomfortable questions about the organization's ability or desire to address clear violations of international law and human rights. These examples force us to confront a difficult question. Why does the United Nations exist if it cannot act decisively against such blatant acts of injustice and aggression? Is it truly fulfilling its mission to maintain peace and uphold human rights if it appears to stand on the sidelines in the face of grave injustices? Perhaps it's time for the international community to call for a re-evaluation of the UN's role and effectiveness. If it cannot maintain credibility and take necessary action in critical situations, its relevance will continue to be questioned. The world needs a United Nations that truly lives up to its founding principles, one that champions equality, defends the oppressed, and takes a firm stand against tyranny and aggression. In conclusion, the appointment of Saudi Arabia to the Commission on the Status of Women and the UN's inaction in the face of Russian aggression in Ukraine highlight significant challenges within the organization. These issues prompt us to ask critical questions about its effectiveness and role in today's world. A re-evaluation may be needed to ensure that the United Nations can act as a true global leader for justice and human rights.